you'll agree, North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me. Sing it one and all. Join in the chorus. North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
Welcome back, Shimboners. How good is that winning feeling, and how good is Harry Sheasel? Welcome back to the Shimboners podcast. On today's pod, we'll be reviewing a comprehensive win, Chief. One the sort of win we haven't had in a while. That was our farewell game down in Tassie. But I just want to flag at the start, due to some time constraints, we're not going to touch on the AFLW. This pod, that'll be the next one after that great win. But I don't want to half-ass it. They deserve the time of day for a proper review, and we unfortunately don't have that time. So they'll be parked for later on in the week in our next pod. But huge congrats to them. Right, so I better welcome my co-host, the man who was there for the Guard of Honour, got some skin off George before he ran out. Big Chief, how are we?
Yeah, very, very, very happy. What a win. That was our grand final, and the boys delivered. I haven't been that happy at Boot Park, or now Ninja, since the big Sylph kicked 9.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've won there since then, from memory.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, no, very good day. It's nice to go to the footy, and we'll get to the last quarter later. But it's nice to sit back and relax, and try and get someone to 50.
Oh, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And I've listened back to the crowd reaction, very noticeable on the call as well when he got to his 50 the second time after he had a sneaky Rioli. But anyway, I suppose we better discuss across our socials. There's been some footage we've put up of us at the Guard of Honour, thanks to the club for reaching out and to the Tassie members.
Well, we almost didn't get there because the club called me and I had a call, no name, number, Victoria, Melbourne. I thought, he's trying to scam me and send me something. And then I thought, I'll answer it. And then g'day for North Melbourne Football Club. And I thought, I've already bought raffle tickets. Well, I can't be running a second raffle. I've never won a raffle. And
Boomer wins them.
He said, how many members you got in your family and all this, and anyway, finally got to the chase, and he said, you're a long-time member, we'd like to reward you, get out in the Guard of Honour.
Yeah, so it was brilliant.
So it was awesome.
And the surface, wasn't the surface pristine?
Surface was good.
And good to meet a long-time boner, long-time listener of the pod, Brett Hay as well.
Yeah, sitting next to me, and he said, you're the big chief. And I said, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am.
Yeah, and just to paint a picture, to paint a picture for the listeners, if your head could get any bigger, wobble, bit of Danny Foley.
It's always, I was wearing my, the only one in Australia.
One
of one, CCC shirt, so it was fairly easy to spot with the big X-Man number 38 on the back.
Yes, another one of our Tasmanian listeners sent me a message and asked if that was you. So,
oh, really?
Yes.
There you go. Yep.
Taken off. Anyway, let's get into some footy chat.
Probably enough about me.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's game?
Well, we defended the ground really well. And once we got control of the clearances, and then we owned the corridor. And it's game over.
Game over.
Well, probably the biggest takeaway, which we'll probably get to in the Bastie. How hard was it to do the Bastie?
Yeah, that's a good takeaway.
Because there were 4 players who could have easily got the 5.
Yes.
So the number 2 player is very unlucky. Well, the person who got the 2, or the 4, the 3 and the 2 votes, any other week would have got 5.
Good luck making sense of what you just said, but to dumb it down for the listener. No, not to dumb it down, to make sense of it. He meant the person who gets the 2 votes, so the 4th best on.
Yes.
Because you had a mare there.
I did.
You're too excited. Too much emotion.
I'm not used to this winning feeling. No, we had it 3 times this weekend, because you forgot the VFLW girls. Also defending premiers, got up and won their first semi-final. We're in the prelim this week.
My biggest takeaway from yesterday's game is that's our starting 3. I don't want to see any more, too often. I think Jai's going to be on the wing from now on. Tommy Power's going to have to work from half forward and the wing as well. That's our starting 3. LDU, George and Harry. absolutely put the three experienced Richmond midfielders to the sword and tore them a new one. And we're going to make sure we give plenty of love to LDU because it's not often you have 40 and kick a goal and go under the radar, but he might have in the media.
I think he had high sixes, metres gained, burst from stoppage. That three bounce, then hit the kick to JD.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. Led to a goal, and that was game over after that.
How
good was he? And Nank tried to ankle tap him, and then McIntosh tried to ankle tap him. They can't catch him. It's too quick. He's like the Roadrunner.
And if you listen to Harry himself post-game, he said that LDU was better than him. So always humble, Harry.
Oh, well, you can mount an argument. But it's hard to beat 54, but 40-1, or 54-2 versus 40-1. But it was very dynamic, LDU. Any other day, 5 votes easy.
Yeah, I agree. So we're going to change it up a little bit in the format here today. We're going to put more emphasis on your questions, of course, the People's Pod after a win. Didn't take a great deal of notes at the game, so we're going to talk about just a couple of moments, but focus more on the players. And someone who I think's gone under the radar in yesterday's performance, I want to start with. He might be my new favourite player. I think he might have the mantle of my favourite player. But Finn O'Sullivan yesterday, particularly in that first half, how often did he get just handed a live grenade and he'd break 3 tackles and just set up the play, or he'd step someone? I can't believe that he's not being discussed in any Rising Star nominations because he is a freak. He's been so good. It was good to hear on SEN, I don't know if anyone listens to Fireball, but Kane gave him a huge rap this morning.
Yeah, good. And how often does he get a mung ball delivered to him? I think even Harry, it might have been Harry, centred the ball and he was and got the rough half volley on the cricket pitch, the sticky wicket, and he just cleanly picked it up and evaded the player and delivered. Yeah. We saw live what you've been saying all year. He evaded about 3 tackles.
He's untackleable.
And then he got tackled, he still released the ball effectively. He's a gun. Had what? Low 20s.
He had 21, I think.
Yeah, just fantastic. He's really, really good. The other thing I'd like to just quickly touch on, Jai on the wing. How good was he? I've been calling for that for near on 2 years since we've drafted every midfielder on the planet. And he's so good out there. Give him some time and space. His delivery was good. There was one turnover you can see on TV. It was not his fault. Trembath had to lead up at him, and it was too long a kick, and he tried to pull it across to the next player to come across. They didn't do it. That was going from the wing to out, about around the 50, 60 out. Well, it wasn't his fault there. That was just lack of connection with the forwards. Someone had to hit up at him. On TV, that can look like, Jai's turned it over. But live, it wasn't Jai's fault.
No. And let's talk about that man. I wasn't going to go to him next, but Cooper Trembath. How easy his footy?
Well,
how good's footy, Brendan Bolton?
It's bloody good. 3 goals a week. I haven't been playing for longer. Now, I was sitting next to your sister, my daughter, and he took a really good mark in front of us. And I said, gee, he's got soft hands. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about his hands for? What's wrong with you? She didn't get it. And I thought, well, it's soft hands. He just marks the ball soft, clean, not the hard hands slapping on it. He was really good, wasn't he? Got a good leap on him too.
And the knocks on him from the VFL and the track watchers was that his kicking hasn't been great, but he's going well. He's kicked 6-2 or 6-3, I think. So he's making the most of his opportunities.
Yes, very good. Looking forward to get a pre-season into him. He should be even better.
Well, long-term partner for Larky.
We call him a bit pumped up PC because he's a bit taller and he's got a fair build on him, hasn't he? Already,
he does.
The 19-year-old, and we won't go into Brady Rawlings too much, but big tick. Found him, hit him, and then brought him up. People were calling for Archer May. Well, we got the Zach Banch, the little tip rat, quick small forward.
Broke his ribs, taking one of the marks of the year.
Yeah, obviously courageous, and we managed to get him round 2 because we hit him away, and he looks good. 2 games in, but just a while since the North player has kicked three in his first 2, or 3 each time in his first 2 matches.
Yeah, that third quarter yesterday was electric, and we used the corridor, and someone who's copped a lot of heat, and on this podcast as well, is Caleb Daniel, and it was so good to see him back to his best. I said to you before the game I had a feeling he'd have a great game, because we might have been a touch harsh on him at different times throughout the year, but funny what happens when you're not just saying you have the kick-ins, Caleb, and he gets to be that connection piece.
Well, exactly. He was half back, not back pocket. So he gets the ball at half back. There's more space. Obviously, it's an oval-shaped ground, so it widens through the centre. And, get him forward of half back through the centre, and he's damaging. These little 25, 30-metre kicks hit targets, and then you're going deep inside 50. So he did take a couple of kick-outs, but they did manage to quickly release it back to him. So he was still getting to around the 50 before he was forced to kick.
But big tick to see there. That was the best game he's played in blue and white yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. He was good.
And someone
particularly
else,
early, and then, like you said, through the third quarter.
Someone else who's copped a lot of flack as well, who I thought was particularly good. Not as much as you were all over him yesterday, showering him with praise from the grandstands, and that was Griffin Logue, Chief.
Yeah, yes. My daughter called him the big Logie Bear. She loved his work. She couldn't understand why we'd been maybe a little bit harsh on him prior, but she doesn't watch as much footy as we do. But credit where it's due, he was really good.
Maybe it's just because Clarko's come to the bench and he's just keeping a keen eye on where Logue's setting up, but he was much better yesterday.
Well, our defence wasn't overly assertive. It was still assertive, and obviously the opposition being weaker, wasn't a Geelong, wasn't a Bulldogs. We were able to get more dirty ball going in, and they were a lot tighter. They set the ground up well. They only really had one spare, and because we won the clearances, we got it inside our 50. We set the ground up. I mean, we had a fairly small forward line. When Bull's your main target, JD's the workhorse, but Bull was your main target. Then he went down. I thought, gee, we're in trouble. We could be in trouble here, because I thought he'd done his knee when he first did it.
Well, it's been unconfirmed yet, but the talk out of shout out to Dom Alardi, who's all over this sort of stuff. Generally, before it gets out, the talk is a fractured tibia, which is about 6 to 8. So it's unfortunate, but thank God it's not the dreaded ACL or some sort of serious ankle injury either.
Yes, thank goodness. It's bad timing for him if he's got a big European vacation hiking through the Alps or something planned.
Maybe a Texas barbecue.
Yeah, I reckon. Well, he does that himself. He doesn't need to go on holidays for that. Anyway, too much waffle from you.
Oh, we'll just deliver Mitch Cleary sort of breaking news for the people.
Well, to be fair, it was probably my waffle.
Yeah.
They set the ground up really well. The one loose behind, hanging around the middle, centre corridor, centre circle type area, and we just forced them wide. They could not get a handle on the corridor. And our forwards, our backs were just playing no more than 10 metres in front of their forward. And they were able to clean up the dirty ball.
Yeah, and I thought after that first quarter when we kicked 2 goals 7, I thought, here we go, typical North, dominate and not being able to cash in on our ascendancy. But we were the better side for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Well, we beat them in the... That was our first 4-quarter performance.
Yeah, first 5 minutes they were probably better when bloody Lynch looked like he was going to kick 10. But then we started to get a bit more clearance, dominance. I thought X really took over in the second half of the first quarter and then into the rest of the game. Just really dominated, gave our mids first use, and 94 possessions between 2 players probably says he did.
Well,
he had a lazy 22 himself.
Oh, he was on fire, but we've waited 14 minutes. The listeners would be shaking, wanting to hear our thoughts on the Shees. Harry Sheasel, 54 disposals, an equal AFL record. What a game from him. And he played as close to a 4-quarter performance as you can. He had 13 in the first, set the tone. It almost looked like under 18 playing against an under 16. Like, he was way too... And this is not something you usually associate with Harry, but he was too quick and nimble for Prestia.
Yep.
And just did as he pleased. And the big stat... takeaway for him is 22 disposals in the corridor.
Yeah. And when he was wide, he brought the ball aggressively into the corridor, which I really like, because he will hit the targets.
And another, just to pat myself on the back, I have been screaming out, he has to be a full-time mid, and this is why. What he can do to bring others into the game is immense.
Yeah, I like it. I like him forward to centre.
Yeah, he still kicked 2 goals from the full-time mid.
It's hard to argue not be a mid when he has 54 and equals the record. Right. I've just got a few positives and negatives to go through the game because we're not doing quarter by quarter, correct?
Correct.
So, I've been waiting around all day to do the pod. I've actually made a couple of notes.
Oh boy,
I know.
this could go right.
And I have watched, I must say, we had the long trek back from Hobart and got home and straight to the replay. So I have watched it on the television as well as live, but I did my Bassie votes after the game in my head on the way back, and they haven't changed. Right. Clearances, inside to out, so they could not get, if they got a clearance, it was a bit of a dirty ball, because they had no spread, and we had a fantastic spread, and that was Harry often releasing LDU with a handball.
Or George.
And Georgie, his attack on the ball is so high, so far above most other players. There was one which I actually noticed more on the TV, because it was near the hill, and we were in the second level ponding, if you don't mind.
Best place to sit.
Best place to watch, right above the race. And anyway, it was up the other side of the ground, and he came in from a high ball to row from the boundary side, and it was like the flash compared to the other players. It was just, and I think he got it and released the handball. It was just, by George, that's George. He's just fantastic. Anyway, quickly run through this.
Just on George, he came off about 3 times with a bung ankle, kept coming on.
We're getting to that. He might feature as my nomination for True Shinboner of the Week.
Righto.
Our run and carry, really good. Daniel off half-back and through the centre corridor, fantastic. That's where he has to play. Colby takes the kick-ins, or when Hardiman comes back, he takes the kick-ins. Next year, hopefully, Goda, the great white hope, when he comes in, he'll take the kick-ins. Get Daniel loose to be a distributor at half-back with more time and space. And Richmond were pretty fumbly. Now, I think that was a lot of their skill, but also a bit of our pressure. So I'll give ourselves a bit of a tick for that. On the negatives, when we went long down the line, how many times did Broad mark it or Vlosten? Luckily, well, not luckily, match-wise, luckily, Vlosten went off and didn't come back. But when we got into that, which tends to happen at Hobart, because it's a little bit of a narrower ground, they get trapped into kicking it long down the line on the flank, and too many times they get out marked because we haven't got the representation there to take the mark. It's either X, which means he's up against Nank anyway, or JD, who's just undersized. But we got out of that, and a lot of it was Harry and Jai, who looked more for the corridors, obviously a instruction. And when we did that, we opened the game right up and we scored. How good was it to score 20 goals?
Oh, unreal.
How good. Anyway. And Toby on Lynch, he looked a bit exposed. He's undersized to play on a Lynch, isn't he? Luckily, Lynch, after kicking a couple early, then forgot where the goals were.
Yeah, I've got a negative before you get to your next one. I think Dill Stevens' first half was a negative. He had a few poor efforts. There was one right in front of us where he had to stick the tackle, sort of half-assed it, and he got a bake from his former Sydney teammate, now current teammate obviously at North, but Parker absolutely gave it to him about that.
And that was right in front of us, and he was behind, he just had to wrap him up, this McIntosh, and he almost went, instead of tackling him from behind, thought he was going to release the handball, but he would have had the handball almost through his back, as in McIntosh through his own back. Just tackle the man, make him get a rush handball. That resulted in, I think, a Lynch mark and goal. So yeah, we weren't on early, but just one last positive. Finish with the negatives. There weren't many negatives yesterday. When was the last time we had 2 wingers both get over 20 possessions? We've had times where one has and one hasn't. And obviously our dominance helps them both rack up the pill, but I thought Stevens worked his way into it pretty well, and I thought Jai was fantastic. He's got to make the wing his own.
Yeah, I agree.
With all our midfielders, we don't need Jai in there. We can bring him in if we have to, but he knows how to hold his space and his width so well. And how often was it Harry or someone released him and he's out there in 20 metres of space? And then if someone comes to tackle him, he just Jai steps and keeps going forward. He was really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is our midfield set up now. And then the additions into the midfield, when we do expand it, it's not going to be Simpkin and Powell. It's going to be O'Sullivan and McKercher.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think they should have. I mean, McKerch had a good game, but imagine if they just throw him in. Like George was hobbling. They had to put Parker in there, obviously, who was also very good in there. But imagine instead of Parker, they'd have thrown McCurcher in there.
Yeah, but the problem with that is you lose your run and carry from half back.
It wouldn't get to halfback. The way we were dominating, he'd have come out. Imagine him running out forward to stoppage. You'd have LDU. Harry would be lost for choice. So who to handball it to, LDU or McCurcher. And then they're breaking 50.
And then finishing, like Harry did mostly yesterday.
Anyway, that's enough of the game rundown. I'm sure you've all watched it, probably like me, more than once.
Right, let's move to the next segment then, Chief.
Okay, it's time for the most prestigious award in all of the AFL, the Basti.
Right, I'll take the new ball today. Most of the time, we're sort of scratching our feet trying to find 4 or 5, but I reckon there was genuinely 12 options.
I reckon everyone's a chance, except for poor old Coop. But he did share in a partnership. They put on the socials.
That was hilarious.
Of 58 possessions with Harry. So he just didn't really get a look in, poor Coop. But yeah, someone has to miss the party, I suppose.
So I gave 5 votes to Harry, obviously. Monster game. He was everywhere. He was the clear best on ground for mine. The unlucky 4.
Clear?
Yeah, I think he was.
Well, I'd put an argument for your number 4.
Well, I think he's unlucky, but I think Harry was the best. LDU 4, his burst from stoppage, he's awesome. He's back.
Yeah, back, baby.
And that was fantastic.
He was,
do it again next week against the Crom.
Yeah, he was very damaging, and as we alluded to earlier, any other week, if you have 40, you're getting the 5. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. He's stiff not to get the 5 this week, but it took Harry literally equaling a record to beat him. So I gave the 3 to PC, 15 disposals, kicked 5 goals. He was awesome. Goal of the year contender.
Winner.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I still don't really know how it went through. I've watched the replay about 10 times and...
no one kicks goals from that pocket. We've watched every game at Boot Park and no one kicks a goal. It was one of our greatest small forwards ever, Lindsay Thomas, used to always miss from that pocket, let alone on the boundary, on the run, full tilt, without a sider.
Exactly. The 2 votes I gave to Big X. He broke the record for most tackles by a ruckman. Had 18 tackles, 22 disposals. He started to turn the tide, as you mentioned yesterday. When the game was on the line, he started to get the ascendancy in the ruck. First use to Shees, to LDU, to Peter Parker. He was immense.
He did turn the tide, but I'll talk about him because he's probably a chance to get in mine.
Oh, wow. Surprise to everybody listening, no doubt. Before I give my 1, I want to talk about a few unlucky. I thought Finn O'Sullivan was my next in. I thought really impressed with his game. Luke Parker, obviously, you have 30 in the midfield and don't get in.
Most weeks that's at least a 3.
Caleb Daniel, he was really close to mine as well. Enjoyed his game. Colby McCurcher, unlucky not to feature. Jai, and then Griffin Logue also, which would have been a huge turnaround from copying a fair bit of criticism to being in the votes, but he was unlucky. But the 1 vote I gave to George Wardlaw, just for his attack on the footy, set the tone. Only 65% game time, 25 disposals. He was everywhere. He was putting... And I thought his ball use was really good.
His ball use was really good by handball. There was one which... what's she on TV? Dermy got very excited where he was a bull at a gate, won the contested ball, got sort of taken high and fired the handball out to... It was probably Harry, I don't know who it was. Can't remember. Around the 50, resulted in a goal for us.
Just on Dermy, it was good to see he was the only one that made the journey down.
Yeah. He was there in his 3-piece suit. Anyway, enough about Dermy. Right, so you finished?
Well, no, that was a crack at Fox.
Yeah, I know.
Sending the rest down. So they were my votes. What say you?
Mine very similar. So I won't go through the stats. 5 to Harry. You have 54. You can and use the ball well. And I like the fact that he released LDU and others out of the centre clearance. And his work rate was really good. And every chance he got, if he was out wide, he brought it into the corridor.
Can I just say, from the last time I've seen him up close, he looks to be moving a lot better than earlier in the year. Yes. So I reckon there's no doubt in my mind that he was playing under some sort of injury cloud for a large part of the season. The talk is ankle, but he was moving really well yesterday.
Yep. For LDU, as explosive best. kick goals. That long range from 50. How good.
Yeah.
And probably the play of the day, or you could argue PC's goal, would be right up there, but his 3 bounce, and they've tried to ankle tap him. He would have been gassed. He's run about 60 metres out to the right round the 50, and then kicked it beautifully. Like, how hard is it to kick after you've been gassed and almost tackled twice?
Yep, he had 15 score involvements yesterday.
Yep.
And the thing I like most about his game, funnily enough, 7 tackles.
Yeah. No, he was on. Any other day, that's a clear 5 votes. No arguments. I'll give him 3 to my man, the Big X. I think he took control of the ruck battle, gave our mids first use. Obviously, they've featured fairly heavily already. And his follow-up work is unparalleled. Like, Nank probably used to be able to do it. He can't do it. X is the next level to any ruckman. What do you have? 18 tackles.
Correct.
And still 22 disposals.
Yep. And 6 clearances.
I mean, that's a monster game. Any other day, that is a 5-vote game. So that's how deep we're going. Which leads me to PC, who, small forward kicks 5, can only get 2 votes. Use his strength in a marking contest. Got the ground ball at pace, drew a high free kick. Obviously, we've talked about the goal of the year. Just fantastic. Took Zerha went down. We were still behind at that stage, and I thought, oh dear, there you go. Our most experienced, take JD out of it because he's more there as your role player workhorse, but our most experienced forward, we didn't have a lot of tools, and PC really stood up. And any other day, that's a 5-8 game, but he's got 2. One, I was a bit like you. Parker, 30-odd possessions, nose in the trough. Pretty good use from, right where the heat in the kitchen. Couldn't get a vote. Georgie boy, one of my favourites. Got the low 5 from Georgie as he ran out. 25 in, about half a game. Couldn't get in the votes. Can't believe it. That was hard to leave him out. JD, Costanti, played on short. We're not talking about him enough. He had about 14, 15 disposals. Finally kicked a goal. And Short's their distributor. It's like playing on cover. Short?
Yeah, he's terrible. He's been terrible this year.
He's a triple premiership player, and he was the best kick in their triple premiership.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just saying, that's about average for him this year, about 14. He's been...
You want me to not pump JD up then?
JK. But no, he still did a great job, and we didn't talk about his game on Ash enough last week. But yeah.
No, that's right.
Big shout out to him. I thought he was good too, but I'm just saying the short one, he's garbage. He's past it.
Right. Jai Simkin, fantastic on the wing. How he misses out on a vote. Any other day, he's probably getting 2 or 3 for that game. Foss, again, couldn't get him in.
That hurt me not to get him in. I really wanted to. But...
Yeah, couldn't get him in. Just, I don't know. He did nothing wrong. He just, too many good players. So, but it was very hard to find the one, but I settled on Colby because his use is electric. Like, he just opens the game up. There was one where he just got the ball in congestion, bang, out the front of the stoppage, or it wasn't a stoppage, it was open play, but out the front, delivering inside 50. Just fantastic. Anyway, Colby gets my 1. Do you want to go through the leaderboard? Because we've got 1 game to go, so it's a 3-horse race, correct?
It certainly is. So we'll work our way from 5th. Luke Parker in 5th on 48. Edward Ayew moves up to 4th on 51, and this is where it gets hot in the kitchen. So 1 game to go. Obviously, the maximum amount of votes you can get is 10.
Yes.
In 3rd place, Harry Sheasel's come home like a steam train. He's on 76 votes. In 2nd place, Colby McKercher on 77 votes. And the leader still, with 1 game to go, who's led all year, I believe, Tristan Sherry on 83 votes. So... he's got a 7-vote lead on Shees, and a 6-vote lead on Colby.
Yep, and he's got my 5 votes next week.
Regardless, I reckon.
If he plays like that, he's going to feature, take Harry to get another 50.
Well, the last time he
and
played...
Colby to get 30 and kick 3 off half-back.
The last time he played the ruckman he's going up against next week, he ran away from him. The big Rob ran away from X. He was petrified, so I think he'll be right.
Yes. Anyway...
before we move on to the watch list, I've got a listener question back from earlier this week that I think's a good conversation, so I want to play it. So this is Tristan Cook. Just keep in mind that he sent it before the Richmond game.
Okay.
G'day guys, love the pod. As we come up against the Tigs this week, I'm definitely not confident in us being able to come away with a win, which makes me want to prepare a bit for the questions that are going to be raised in the media, by friends, by families, by foes, about the Whitlock trade. I feel for Brady and the recruitment team because I think it was a really good decision. And they've been let down by, I guess, the guys out on the field, but even more so the coaching staff and the selection week to week. There's every chance that we could have been, sitting up kind of 12th, 11th with the games that we most likely should have come away with wins this year. And, with the compromised draft, our first pick might have been up towards, 11, 12, 13, who knows. But at the moment, it's looking like it could be a number 2 draft pick. So, how do we kind of deal with those questions? And, what are your thoughts on it?
Thanks very much, Tristan. That's a fantastic question. And the simple answer is we just had to do it. I mean, we've spoken about this a few times on the pod, but the club definitely thought we'd take a bigger step this year than what we did. But if you have a look, the only sort of key position player in the top 10 is Cooper Duff Tyler, or Taylor, whatever his surname is, who's projected to go pick 2. So with the win on the weekend, our first round pick's now pick 3. So if Richmond would take him, we'd have to draft another 180 centimetres midfielder. So I still am happy to back the trade in. It gets Whitlock in a year earlier, or the key position player in a year earlier. We saw him on the weekend. He competed all right. He kicked his first goal, which was great to see the boys all get around him, and I think he's going to be a star, Whitlock. And once we get brother home as well from Port, we'll have a dynamic duo. But what are your thoughts, Chief?
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, I was a bit nervous too, because Richmond, I didn't get to do the preview pod. You brought young Corey in, and he did a great job. I was a bit nervous that I'd get the call up for this gig again. But anyway.
I've spoken to Corey, and he reckons he has to get on every preview now.
Oh, well, yeah. If he's
the winning formula.
I'll gladly vacate the seat if it guarantees us a win.
A bit like us with the Guard of Honour. I think the club needs to bring us over every week. But anyway.
I was a bit nervous about Richmond. They've got a very experienced team, particularly the back line and the midfield. But as you correctly said, they're very one-paced, and that was their downfall.
Big tick to my analysis then.
Well, I'll give credit where it's due, just like I tried to do with JK, and you knocked that down.
No, we love JK.
Yep. Right. Yeah, the club thought we'd bounce. We haven't bounced like we thought we could. We've had 2 really solid wins, and every other game, we can say we could have won this, we could have won that. We also could have lost this, we could have lost that. So 2 really solid wins. Should have been 3 because we were that far ahead of Carlton. It wasn't funny, but we allowed them back in the door. But we certainly played better. It's been a better year than last year. Obviously, the club thought, that this would be about pick 8, which would then bounce out of the top 10 with father-sons, academies, all that rubbish. But you've got to remember, it's pick versus pick. Oh, sorry, it's not pick versus pick. It's player versus player. So we got Whitlock. We look at what he is. We look at where our pick lands. Let's say it's 3. Let's say no one bids, and it's still 3. There's no Oscar Allen compo. It's still pick 3. And we'll see who goes at pick 3. And the worst case scenario would be that ruckman you just mentioned of the double-barrelled surname.
Who sounds like Taylor Goad. Like it'd be similar.
He sounds more like CCJ.
Oh,
but he's probably more highly rated. But CCJ was a first rounder.
Yeah, he was.
He's a ruckman forward or forward ruck. He's neither or. He's probably more ruck than forward at the moment at this young age. So we'll see where it lands. But yeah, he's the only key position prospect that high in the draft.
Yeah, so the move still makes sense. We just can't keep drafting best available and having 26 mids.
And it's a weaker draft, and look, we're very happy. There was a lot of conversations we had last year around Foss, and I backed in best available. I'll give myself a little pat in the back now. And look how good Foss has turned out. And will he eventually move in the midfield? Probably, but I'm happy he can play his whole career doing what he's doing right now, and I'll be more than happy with that pick.
I'm bullish that he could be the best of the lot.
Yeah.
That's a crazy call with how well Colby and Harry are playing, but I'm bullish that he could be the best player out of the last 3 or 4 drafts.
Yeah, well, Colby's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, we don't need another midfielder. So you got to look what it was. It'll be Whitlock versus potentially just like you said, a 180 centimetre midfielder.
And if they're just to quickly tie,
Would have to play out of position in the back pocket or somewhere.
We could definitely tie up those two start of second round picks and move up a couple of spots anyway if there was someone we liked on the draft board, no doubt. So
yeah,
be one worth watching. Right, next segment, Chief. Let's get into the True Shimboner Award.
Right, I touched on this a little bit earlier. It's George Wardlaw. All right, we know his attack on the ball. That's every week. But he got injured in the first half, and he came out of the race, which we sit right above, to begin the third quarter. So after half time, they run to the centre square and do their warm ups. He was 30 metres behind the pack. They got there and done about 3 handball run throughs, and he's still trying to run out. And I thought he's cooked. He was barely able to walk. Monkey went past him.
Oh, Monkey.
Carrying the drinks. He looked shot. He looked shot. But he came off before the warm-up and finished to start the third quarter and sat down with the physio. And anyway, he soldiered on, and you wouldn't know when he played, would he? He was just hard at it. Really good, and I thought, because we couldn't use a sub. We'd already used a sub on Zerha, obviously. So I thought, send him to the cage. Just people will run off him. What can we do? We've got to try and at least use him as some rotations. But they obviously probably lowered his minutes. But when he was on there, you did not know he was injured. He just 100% at it. So true Shimboner effort from what you wouldn't expect any less from a CCC Foundation member.
Yeah, the only other one I can think of is probably the X-Man for 18 tackles. That's just an effort in itself. But I think George is the right winner this week.
Yeah, because you're so badly injured. Mm. I reckon if we hadn't used our sub, they'd probably subbed him off.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. Anyway, fantastic effort, and good on you for bringing up the X-Man.
Right, let's get into the watch list.
Right, the list you don't want to be on. You wanted to wipe it clean after a win.
I didn't want to wipe it clean. I said everyone's getting a tick.
Yeah, everyone's getting a tick. So Bailey Scott, I thought he was actually pretty good.
Yep.
He had about 18 or some disposals, but yeah, big.
It was nice to see a little bit of a reflection of Bailey of the past.
Yes. He's back, baby.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, he was good though. Griff Logue.
Oh,
tick. Intercepting marks, helped out.
Kicked a goal.
Yes, I forgot about that. And
it's weird when we kick so many.
I know. You forget we've got 20. You can't keep. Well, I think we had 12 goal kickers too.
I had a lot of goal kickers.
Well, I mentioned on the coverage. I wasn't counting at the game. I was too busy counting up to Harry getting to 50.
Yeah.
Aidan Cord didn't play, obviously. But did he play reserves?
He did.
Yeah, I
didn't watch a second.
I haven't watched the second of the reserves, so I can't comment. But good on him. At least he's back. Bailey, your good self. You've been on there for a while, but you finally wore the merch.
I did.
The Shimboners podcast cap.
So, the boys got to look at it as they ran out, and then they won.
Yep, that's it.
You do the math.
Yep, okay. Very good. Yeah, I'll take you off for that. All right, you're off. North Lawyers, I'm sorry. Even that, if we win a premiership, I'll consider taking them off. Cal Dawes played the VFL. Didn't watch that. Fisher, what's he doing?
He's out for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I'll give Clarko a tick. You're winning coach, you get a tick. He's off. Clarko's off.
For the second time.
Second time this year, he's off. Caleb Daniel gets a massive tick. I like him. I've mentioned it 8 times on this pod already. Half back is where he distributes from now on. He's off.
Gee, it's graduation day today.
The selectors. Well, they have a lot to pick from, but we'll give them a tick. Win's a win. They picked a winning team. Yeah. Tick. Go.
I don't like Whitlock as sub. Didn't like that, but anyway.
They're getting a tick.
Righto.
They keep picking winning teams. They'll keep getting ticks. Stevens, deal. Yeah.
Nah.
No, he's going to
gonna
take.
dash.
We win. Take 20
How low the standards?
20 possessions. Oh, he had a couple of weaker moments, so did everyone. Or not everyone, but he's going to take. Look, if we win, I'm up and about. I'm a positive half full person. 22 possessions on a wing. The other winger had 22 as well.
Righto.
His use was okay. You have that one moment we've already discussed. You can't hang a bloke for one moment.
I'm not giving him a cross. I was just wanted to have a bit more of a discussion. But anyway, keep going.
My segment, my rules. JK, massive tick, beat the best distributor ever in the history of the game, Jaden Short. Kicked a goal.
Who's been in blistering form?
Kicked a goal from the goal square, tick. Tommy Powell, tick.
Yep, no arguments here.
And poor old Bryn didn't play. He played in the twos, and that's probably his last game in the blue and white.
But do we take him off just for...
Oh, he's off.
Just for...
You're off.
And Cow Dawson, you're going to take him off?
Yeah, because the reason we're taking him off, and we did the same with
Hugh Greenwood.
Hugh Greenwood last year. If we don't think they're on the list next year, they're not finishing on the watch list, unless you are a North lawyer.
Yeah, then you're always on
Because
there.
you've had 3 chances, and you've blown the lot of them. Right, that's enough for the watch list.
Right, let's get into some listener questions. This is what we are... Our favourite part of the pod, Chief, and especially after a win. Ben Hunter, we'll start off with him, says, how exciting is Cooper Trembath? 6 goals in 2 games. How will he fit with... Sorry, he will fit with Larky in 2026.
Yeah,
That's another scary thing. We haven't seen them together.
Perfect third tall, I reckon. Yeah, he seems to be naturally a bit of a natural footballer, like when you compare him to Finbar. And, 3 and 3. And he's the main man at the moment. It's either he or Jack Darling who has to fly.
And just a bit of a forewarning of some anger. The AFL, if you don't give him the bloody rising star this week after you gave it to some Hugh Boxall having 14 last week when our man Cooper kicked 3 on Sam bloody Taylor, you're on notice. So you'd want to bloody give him the rising star nomination this week. Mark loves beer. Did we see the 3 best performances of the year in the same game? He's thinking about along the same lines as you,
Yeah,
Chief.
absolutely.
LDU, Sheasel, and X.
Absolutely. And PC would be on the podium.
Yeah. Well, it was only our second 5 or more goal bag for the year. Larky, he kicked 2 this year, Larky. No, he kicked 3. Take that back. I'm off the show.
Yep. Too pumped up.
Too pumped up. Rory RJ67. Great win. Has it changed your evaluation of our season? P.S. How good's Harry? It has for the... We've got the blinkers on.
Yeah, that's all good. No, look, we had improved, but it's nice. Here we go. David Noble. What's it nice to get?
Nourishment.
It's nice that the fans, the members, and probably more importantly, the players need the nourishment. And we got a big 5-course feed of it yesterday down at Ninja.
Yes, exactly. I like this next one from Paddy Kellier, who says, can you believe we didn't take Cadman in the draft? With some sarcastic winky faces, probably of my man, the Corn, who didn't want us to take Harry and George, instead taking Cadman. But yeah, how good were those two? Billy Lynch, love the footage of you getting some skin from the boys when running out. Well, yeah, how good was it?
You took a bit of credit on the way home. You thought the last thing Harry touched before he ran through the banner was your hand.
It was.
The hand of God.
I didn't go that far.
He's had 54.
I didn't go
with
that
a bit of the Basel sweat on his hand.
Look,
Sticky.
Could we assume Harry's on a decent wicket. He's contracted till 2030. Does he need a personal high-fiver prior to the game? Because he can fly me over to all the games.
Yeah.
He can come on the pod.
Yeah.
I'll give something back to him. He can join us.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. But I think you're more a Bulls cooking type operator. I think Harry might be a bit too low carb for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be I'm not eating with him. I need a bit more nourishment, David Noble, than what our man the Harry's having. But anyway, Bryce Kelly, with a healthy list, how do we squeeze all the F and B in? We need to trade mids and who? Forwards and backs.
Oh.
It took me a while to work it out.
I was never going to get there.
Well, it's sort of what you've alluded to, the fact that and the mids are going to have to push into other positions with Jai and Tommy Power spending time on the wings. Tommy also spent some time at half forward. Good to see him
Yeah, I
get
thought he was
involved.
good. Yeah, I thought he was good. Obviously, you're going to get less possessions in those roles, but when he got it, he was pretty good with it.
He was. Kelsey Allen has Trembath secured his spot in the 23 for 2026.
Who comes in? Well, obviously, Bull comes back. Larky.
It's either him or Darling, I think.
Yeah, Darling's been so good this year. Like, just played his role beautifully. But, yeah.
But you also got to put
You gotta-
into consideration that Coop hasn't had a pre-season.
Exactly. And he's a bigger version of PC. I don't know if you can bench as much, but got a lot of the PC looks about him.
LD's has a good comment here. Payne has a high footy IQ.
Yes.
We haven't spoken about Geordie Payne. I want to try and get around all
Tassie's
the
own.
boys.
Tassie's own, and you've forgotten him.
I'm going to try and mention every player so we can have a quick summation about them. But Geordie Payne, just good leader in terms of making leads, I mean.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's probably a good leader too, but he's still young in the side. But hit up at the ball well, kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah. Got score involvements. Got last kick into the forward 50 and hit people where they hit them out so they could take a mark. Yeah, I think he has the IQ to find the holes, lead into it, and he's undersized, but on the leading mark he'll put his body where it needs to be. He won't pull out, won't shirk an issue, and a good finisher, wasn't he?
Yeah, bloody oath he was. Jared Gilroy, our forward line in the second quarter, 6 games between them, Trembath, Payne and Whitlock.
Yeah,
Must have been, I reckon that would have been when JD went into the ruck.
yeah. So you take JD out of that forward line, and it's very inexperienced.
Keep rolling on. Deb says, was this game on the cards because I had the latest Junior Roo 2 days ago? Well, of course, a big congratulations from the Shimboners podcast of your new arrival.
Yes,
Jack, I believe his name is.
Oh,
After, one of your favourite Shimboners of all time had the first name Jack, and one of mine too. The same player, of course, Jack
right.
Siegel.
I thought you were talking about someone different.
No.
A different Jack. Yeah, Jay-Z, one of my all-time favourites.
Corey asked a question that a lot of listeners have put the same sort of feel, so I'll bunch it up. But the common theme is, which, if any, of these out-of-contract small forwards should we keep? So, for those who aren't aware, Constanti has hit a trigger, but on all the websites and news outlets, it still says he's out of contract, but he's hit a trigger.
He's hit a trigger.
They
That
just
was
haven't
ages ago.
finalised the deal.
He's
Yeah.
played every game.
Yeah, exactly.
And he probably had Pink hit a trigger pretty early last year in his first year of about 8 games. It was pretty low. So I reckon Constanti probably had a similar sort of deal.
But like I've said before, we need to go to the AFL and say we're having our 2 extra list spots.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're keeping
And
them.
I'd be keeping all of them, all the small forwards. I think Bench deserves more time to grow. Geordie Payne, we love what he's seen. He's shown enough.
He's shown enough, and you pointed out to me, he was going round after the game, they're handing out the footballs, and he had the GoPro.
I've just seen, as we're recording, the club's uploaded it, so that'll be some good
I was
footage.
hoping that wasn't just, record this for posterity, because you won't be here next year, so that's good.
Yeah.
I think we need to
and then
keep
Cooper
him.
Harvey as well.
Yeah, Coop missed out. He was the only one who missed out yesterday. And there was a moment in the last where he had the whole forward 50 open. Talk about footy smart. Or not open, but he had the leading lane in the corridor on the forward 50. Everyone had peeled off him to other targets. And Tommy Powell, just as he made his lead, took a bounce. So obviously when you bounce, your head goes down. Then he came up and he was confronted. Dodged him, took another bounce. And then he was too close to him and he had a long shot. And I think it ended up in a point.
He did.
But Coop was wide open, 40 out, he would have kicked it from, and we know he's 99%.
So it was a big ice cream yesterday, and everyone got a lick, and by the time it was passed to Coop, there was nothing left.
He just had a soggy cone.
He just had a soggy stick. Not even the cone. Didn't even get to munch on the
He got to
cone.
take it to the rubbish. That was it.
So,
He missed out, poor Coop.
But
I think he's shown enough, and we need those extra list spots, because otherwise someone's going to be very unlucky. However, we've got 2, let's call them reasonable picks in the 20s, blow out to the 30s. And then the next one's about 50-something. Maybe they'll use that to re-rookie, or not re-rookie, but redraft whoever they cut.
yeah,
I reckon that's what they'll do.
the George, Tom and Harry show. Question 1.
I love that hand.
Oh no, it's my favourite.
It makes me think of being at front row at a Blink concert
Well,
every time.
the profile picture there is of the Blink live show, obviously the Tom, Mark and Travis show, with Harry Sheasel, George Wardlaw and Tommy Powell's faces. So that's brilliant. Anyway, to get to the question, the first question he asked was, how good was the drive home? Hold, while I ask the second one. He says Payne, Banch, or Constanti to start in round 1, 2026. I'll go first. I think it's. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think it's probably JK if he can get that sort of disposal and nullify the best halfback flanker, because I think the other two can't do that. But
Or as well, I think Geordie can.
yeah, well, small sample size, so it's sort of hard to say. I think Banch will be P3, and then those two. I think it's between Payne and JK, pending that Payne's still on the list. I think he might be the one that, as you mentioned just before, that gets delisted and then picked back up.
Yeah. Now, obviously, we're all over both the Coopers, Trembath and Harvey. PC's Bull. We've got all Larky, JD. We've got all these goal kickers. We're going to have someone play a bit of a defence. So I reckon
game.
that's why he's going to get the game. But if Payne could up his defensive, I'd play him over JK, because I think his offense is better. But at the moment, his defence, as you said, isn't as good as JK. So you've got to have someone be defensive and tag the halfback flanker.
And just to answer the other question, the drive home, sensational.
Yes. Now we're not Harry level of eating healthy, but we try to eat healthy. But a bit of a treat when we go to Hobart on the home. We go to the Dirty Bird, don't we?
Yeah, we go to the Colonel.
Bit of Colonel, get a bit of Dirty Bird. And I'm sick of walking in there in North gear, and we've lost. Well, the strut when we walked in yesterday.
It's like Vinnie Mac.
Oh, I'm looking around. Is there any yellow and black in the house? So let's have a talk. But no, it was very enjoyable.
Right, we've got a voice message from Ash here, Chief. Let's give it a listen.
How good was that? He must have been great to be down there to watch that. LDU and Sheasel just turning it on. Great win by the boys. Go Roos.
Thanks very much, Ash. Yes, it was magnificent and the perfect way to say thank you and goodbye to the Tasmanian members as well.
Yes, yeah, fantastic. And we haven't really touched on it enough. But when Harry was three-quarter time, he was on 40, correct? So everyone in our stand knew, probably the whole ground, but we all knew.
We had the countdown on.
We were counting, 41, 42, and then we got up to 50, which is the tackle, the 50 that didn't eventuate. When he was open, and I think Rioli came from either behind an ump or behind one of our players. He was absolutely blindsided. Well, as he got it and was running forward, I'm out of my seat going 50.
Me too.
And
Like
didn't have it. We looked a bit foolish, to be fair. But then he got to 50 about a minute later, and that was right in front of us as well, where they kicked it out he was on his own on the wing, and the crowd were up and about it, weren't
Yeah,
they?
and just a side note, people wouldn't have seen this on the coverage. You can tell me because I haven't had a chance to watch it back yet, but you could tell that they were looking for him in those sort of boundary tight contested ones. Or how can we get it to Harry? Well, I can tell you that Clarko was pissed off.
Yeah.
He was not happy.
Yep.
That we were going away from the game plan to try and get Harry, which is fair enough. And in the presser, he said, basically, who gives a shit?
Yeah, you do it to try and get someone to 100 goals, but not 50 possessions.
Yeah.
And we conceded 4 goals in a row when we were doing it. So I was starting to get a bit pissed off too, Clarko. Not just Clarko. I thought the game was done, but let's not. I don't want to see the Carlton performance again, and let's end up falling in. But Clarko said we won the last quarter. I thought we drew it, but either way,
we won it by a point.
Did we? Yeah. So we won three of the 4 quarters, which is good.
But yes, thanks, Ash. Next, we'll go to Stephen Fenton, who says, I wish this guy followed another team. Now, what he's referring to is Damien Barrett's ranks his top 5 performances of the week.
Yep.
In his MVP. He's given Harry 1 vote.
What?
So he's ranked Jordan Dawson's game better than him, Nick Dacos better than him, Finn Callahan and Josh Dunkley. So
don't waste your breath on him.
No, but I just wanted to raise that so people could abuse Damien Barrett. Anyway, let's move on. Nathan Granger says, rate Harry's performance against past players. To me, that's up there with Ablett Jr., Prime Buddy, Carey, Dunstall, Lockett. I know it's Richmond and different times, but 54 and 2 goals is unheard of. And also, just to answer the question, 54 and 2... No one else has done that against Richmond. So, don't let people say, it was only against Richmond. Because
And Tom Mitchell would have had 54. And there's no way he's kicking 2 when he had his 54.
49 of them would have gone handball
I was going to say it was
backwards.
probably 10 metres gained. Not that I'm, disparaging anyone, but Harry gets 50 plus, but Harry's would have been far more damaging.
Yeah.
All right, move on.
Dave Walland says, Harry amazing, but still don't know how the Basti pans out. Hard to remember a game like LDU just played. Sherry was incredible, and Curtis possibly best game for the club, considering his mates Larky and Zerha were absent. Good luck, lads. Yeah,
Thanks.
could not agree.
Well, we covered that in a fair bit of detail, didn't we? So he agrees with us, clearly.
But I agree.
Well, we agree
I
with
agree
him.
with him in the fact that it was definitely PC's best game,
Yeah.
considering who he was missing.
Yeah,
He was the big dog down there.
yeah.
Bo Hawkins, who was at the game, he's put up one of Chiefs' favourites, rounds out the top 5. So he's alluding to a graphic which has the most disposals in a game for North ever. So obviously Harry is now number 1.
Yep.
Then there's a 3-way tie for second. Boomer, Phil Kelly, and our man, Ryan Bastanak, which we were at as well.
The most prestigious is named after.
The Basti.
And these all had 44 possessions.
Correct. And then in 5th, on 43, Bruce Abernathy.
Yes. Who, was one of my favourites. I actually made a bit of a blue
Yeah.
when I named him my favourite number 5 because he wore 5 when he went to Collingwood. But the television was in black and white in those days, so the Collingwood looked the same as North.
He said another
It was
one.
number 12 with North, and guess who picked me up on that?
The Frog.
Yeah,
He
the
was all
Frog.
over it.
The Frog was all over it. Little brother came to bag big brother.
Yeah.
Well, you give him one win every decade.
Bo Hawkins also put, winners piss in Launceston. Is it wrong that I personally thought LDU was better than Harry?
No, it's not wrong.
No. I agree. Mitch Lord says, Sheasel might be the first bloke to get 10 Basti votes and still be stiff.
Yeah, well, that's fair too. And as with the other 4 we've mentioned who didn't get the 10.
Exactly.
Well, how stiff's LDU to have 40 and 1 and only get 8? Anyway, covered that.
Rowan Stewart, Curtis goal of the year, question mark.
Yes.
Yeah. I still can't understand how the physics of it worked.
No, that pocket's so hard to kick from. For some reason, I don't know why, because there's a building behind the goals. And, yeah, we've seen them from far less an angle. Not a lot of good players miss, let alone on the boundary on the run.
Glenn Lavender, 5.5 wins, 76%. Best season since 2019. Despite all the expected losses, do we now consider this the first genuine year where it all starts to come together?
Oh, that's a fair point, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's year 2 of Clarko because year 1's got a huge asterisk next to it. So I'm expecting the 3rd year bounce that we saw at Hawthorn, as he loves to say all the time. Yeah. I'm expecting that next year, which I also expected this year. So
yeah, we start every year pretty optimistic, and it never eventuates.
Right, a couple more before we finish up. Nicholas Pascoe, how long until Trembath enters the CCC? Well, he's going the right way.
Yep.
Still very early days.
Very early days.
You're very hesitant, listeners, to get.
We've got the most prestigious, and this is the most exclusive.
Yes,
but you see it early on.
You do.
So, called Jacko Archer. I mean, you could argue it was his birthright, but there's no DNA test required to see who his father is. Just the way he attacks the ball. We saw his debut in at Boot Park, as it was called then, and he showed it right from that game. And was that the same game where Big Chom showed the same when he brought them all into the huddle and
ripped them one
against Adelaide, and that was probably the birth of the CCC. To be fair,
it was. Game. Pretty sure it was that next pod that you debuted. Anyway, Matt Bates, was that LDU's best game for North? Looked dangerous all game. Great to see the boys smiling during the game. I was too. Hasn't happened much in the last few years. Yeah. That's a great point, that the boys just got to enjoy a win, because so often we fall over the line and we're trying to lose it.
Yep.
But it's not often we get a win where we're home at 3/4 time.
No. Last time I can remember, we were at the game. It was against Gold Coast when instead of counting to 50 to get Harry 50 possessions, we were trying to count to 10 to get Silver to 10 goals, and we ended up on 9. But LDU had quality help in Harry and George and Luke Parker in the midfield. So he didn't have to do it all on his own. He could get his own ball, but he could also be released with a handball.
And as for LDU's best game, I'm still going to say no. I saw him have 33 and kick 3 live last year where he was head and shoulders above everyone else on the park that day. But he was magnificent. That'd be in his top 5 best games.
Yep.
Calvin Russell made a good comment about how nice is it to see the double, both men and the women getting the job done.
Yep. Fantastic. And obviously we haven't got time because we're just hitting the hour mark now to go into the AFLW, but we'll definitely review that and give it due credit.
Yes. I just didn't want to do a half-assed 5 or 10 minutes because they deserve it.
They deserve a proper pod.
They've given me more good times than bad.
And they are the reigning, defending, undefeated, undisputed champions of the world.
Last one, we'll go to a long-time boner, Jason Stone, who says, "We all needed that, didn't we? Players, staff and supporters. Was today's record-breaking performance enough to show the club's on the right track? Did Geordie Payne do enough to get another year? For what it's worth, my vote is yes to both. So many positives. Glad you boys got to enjoy it live. You've earned that one. Safe drive home."
Thanks very much. Yes, we did enjoy it. And I agree. Yes. We've spoken about Payne and hopefully, we keep an extra list spot or 2 and we can keep him.
Agreed.
But I suppose it's nice to have to make hard decisions on, cutting good or promising players because we haven't had to do that for 6 years.
The thing that shits me, though, is that we didn't see Payne early enough, so now he's going to get 3 games.
Yeah.
And it's going to be unfair if he gets cut. On what he's shown so far.
Yeah, or Banch, who's our, number 2 pick from the mid-season draft.
And broke his ribs, taking one of the North Melbourne mark of the year.
Yes.
And should be up there, but they won't because it didn't sit on someone's head. He showed some bloody ticker.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's just about us done. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who got in touch with us throughout the week and then obviously touch base with us after such a great win. We love communicating with our loyal boners.
Yep.
And if you want to give back to the pod, I suppose, doesn't cost anything. Just hit like, subscribe, follow, whatever listening platform you're on. That's the best way to support us. Or just let a fellow Northmate know and send them our way. And if they like it, they'll stay. And if not, not for everyone. Anyway.
Exactly. If you've got any questions in the W world, throw them at you.
Yes, please do, because we want to go in depth more about that, so we will on an upcoming date, but great to see them start the season off well.
Yep.
And of course, we'll be back to preview one last dance for the men coming up against the Crows this Saturday.
Yes, and we got time for my new segment, Around the Grounds, AFL.
Well, make it quick.
Oh, I've got some hot topics. Rankin. Got to get 5 minimum. I don't know what he said, but it was obviously in the homophobic
I think it
field.
was the word that starts with F and ends in T.
Okay, so what did the other bloke get for that? He got
I don't know
5 or
if that's
6,
what
but
he said.
4 is the minimum. Like we were joking on the way down that
Jack Graham
self-reported to stop playing for West Coast. He got 4 weeks, so he got an early holiday, and that was self-reported. Now I don't know anything about this other than the headline. But how are they going to get Adelaide's most important player, not necessarily their best, but he's their most electric and change the game in 5 or 10 minutes? How are they going to get him off? Because Adelaide are a big club, they're a big town. They already think the AFL hate him from the goal review from 2 or 3 years ago. How are they going to get him off?
That'd be interesting.
I'll lend him to the North Lawyers if they like.
Yeah,
right, so
that'd get him 5 years.
Yeah, okay. Another. The free kick that wasn't paid. I didn't watch every game this weekend, but I watched the big Collingwood Adelaide blockbuster, and the Thrilthorpe just kicked the ball away on the boundary and no free kick. There's 4 umpires out there
are
getting
allergic
paid
to make a decision in the last 2 minutes. They all shut off.
Now, if that was at the MCG and there were 70,000 black and white ferals yelling out, do you reckon it would have been a free?
100%.
Yeah. So they're paid to do a job. Do your job. Everyone has a hard job. Make a hard decision. The correct decision. It's an easy decision. Just make it. Naz. You told me Naz has signed.
He's signed on to Security for $2 million, a bit over $2 million a year for 2 years. But
Yep.
the big news is that Port Adelaide's offer was $30 million over 12 years, $2.5 million a year. And he said, "I'm not playing with no mamas, boy."
Yeah, well, even though he's his best mate.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have to share an ice bath.
No, exactly
He'd
right.
get the ice bath all to himself. But that'll make Harley Reid sit up.
Yeah.
30 million over 12. He's going to get paid peanuts at West Coast. What are they offering him? Yeah, so anyway, he'll come out of contract just when Tassie enters the realm.
Yep. Right, that's us done. Thanks again for your continued support, and stay tuned because we'll be back very, very soon.
Okay. Ghana Kangas. Great to enjoy a win. Ghana Kangas.
He's hit him with the double barrel. Until next time, go Roos!
Good old North Melbourne, they're champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.